To the December 5th version of the OBX Wave Report. I am Robert Scribbler, and for today we are going to do a little fun fitness challenge. It'll be a little surf fitness challenge. I myself am a free surfer. There are many free surfers around the world, and given recent events, I thought that it would be fun to theme our first fitness challenge here on the OBX Wave Report as a pro-freedom, pro-democracy fitness challenge. So I'm wearing my Ukraine support t-shirt that I got at a Support Ukraine Democracy benefit. And given recent statements that I'm not going to go into, by various anti-democracy politicians, I thought that it would be just appropriate for me today to dedicate this fitness challenge to our sacred democracy, our Constitution, which has provided for us this wonderful government of we the people and given us all so much freedom. As you can see, we have a free cat here in our video as well, who might get in our way as we perform our fitness challenge. So please excuse any interruptions by Crow. I'm not going to just lock him up for the purpose of our fitness challenge. We're just going to let him roam free as well. So for today also, we're going to talk about 3 surf locations here on the Outer Banks and give you some information about the surf conditions there. So a brief overview of today's OBX Wave Report, where every day is an adventure as we explore waves, beach lifestyle, weather, and climate. And today we're going to provide for you a little exercise routine that is going to help strengthen your surfing muscles and build some muscle memory that will help you perform surfing maneuvers as you surf. We're not going to go through the full gamut of surfing maneuvers as part of this fitness challenge, but we're going to perform some traditional exercises that will help strengthen your body for surfing and also help you stick those takeoffs, which is one of the major maneuvers for surfing. So before we get into that, though, I'm going to get into the wave report. And starting with Jeanette's Pier, today, as with yesterday, the waves are much better than they were last week. We have waves at 2 to 3 feet at Jeanette's Pier. The wave period is 11 seconds for the primary swell, 5 seconds for the secondary swell. And winds are coming onshore out of the east-northeast at 10 miles per hour with that shift to a more prevailing onshore flow as we have some systems out in the Atlantic that are generating those winds. The air temperature is 54 degrees over at Jeanette's Pier. The ocean water temperature is 59 degrees. So make sure you have your cold weather gear available. At least probably a 3-2 wetsuit at this point, given those ocean and air temperatures. And it's less breezy than it was yesterday, but those 10-mile-per-hour winds are still going to feel really cool in those conditions. So again, make sure to take care of your thermal safety. The weather is partly cloudy with an expected high today of 59 degrees Fahrenheit. Moving on down the coast onto Pea Island, at S-turns we find that the wave heights are a little bit taller than Jeanette's Pier, about 2 to 4 feet. The wave period remains at 11 seconds for the primary swell. Secondary swell is about the same at 6 seconds. Winds around the east-northeast at 12 miles per hour, which is also onshore. And the air temperature is 58 degrees Fahrenheit, with the ocean water temperature being 62. So good conditions there at S-turns, a little bit more warmer both in the air and the ocean, but you're still going to want to have your protective gear. The weather is partly cloudy with an expected high today of 63. And moving on down past Hatteras, making that right turn as you're heading down Route 12 to Frisco, we find that some of those swells that have been hitting the northeast and east-facing shores of the Outer Banks are starting to wrap around. So we've got 2 to 2 to 3 foot wave heights there at Frisco, with a wave period of 11 seconds for the primary swell and 5 seconds for the secondary swell. So much better waves than yesterday. The winds are out of the northeast at 10 miles per hour, which is, given that southeast facing beach, northeast wind is going to be cross shore or even slightly onshore. So I'm sorry, slightly offshore as it cuts across the island and kicks back toward the south there. The air temperature at Frisco is 58 degrees Fahrenheit with an ocean water temperature of 67 degrees, so much warmer down there in Frisco, but you're probably still going to need your some cold weather protection given those air temperatures. And the weather for today, the forecast for today is partly cloudy with a high of 64 degrees. So again, pretty decent wave conditions all up and down the Outer Banks. You'll be hard pressed to find a spot where there's not rideable waves today. So good conditions despite the cool weather. And given the cool weather and given the fact that we are getting into winter where less people like to brave the cold conditions, I'm going to provide for you a bit of a workout. This workout is one that I have enjoyed immensely. It's one that has helped me maintain my fitness throughout my life. I'm actually 50 years old, so and I've managed to maintain good physical fitness and good flexibility throughout my life. The way I've done this, at least for me, has been to focus more on calisthenic style exercises that are medium to lower impact in the sense of less impact on your joints and your skeletal musculature. I have used some weights, but I tend to lean more toward weights that are lighter and exercises that are higher repetition, rather than focusing on building girth and muscle mass. More so focusing on building like total body strength. So I do a lot of body weight exercises, things like pull-ups and push-ups. And I also do a lot of stretching type exercises. And I'm not too proud to do some yoga, which I think is a fantastic exercise for total body fitness as well. I do run, which is more of a higher impact exercise, but if I do run, I use squishy shoes, shoes that have good soles and support. And I don't run on concrete or asphalt if I can help it. I run on the grass and I run in the sand. The exercise that we're going to do today is one that I learned back when I was I guess middle school student back in wrestling. And this exercise is the 55. And what the 55 does is it incorporates a number of exercises into a calisthenic routine that lasts for about 15 minutes. It could last 10 minutes if you have less exercises in your routine, or it could last more if you have more exercises in your routine. But what you do is you start with one exercise and you do 10 repetitions of that exercise. And then you go on to the next exercise and do 10 repetitions of that exercise until you've completed your exercise routine. And then you go back to the start and do 9 repetitions of each exercise through your routine. So for today, we're going to do 5 exercises as part of our 55 exercise calisthenic routine, our Pro Freedom Challenge for today, our Pro Democracy Fitness Challenge for free surfers and free people everywhere. You don't have to be a surfer to do this exercise routine. Anyone can do it. It's good for fitness. If you're like, someone who's trained to be a soldier, it's good for fitness. If you're someone who's trained to be an athlete of any kind, it's good for fitness. And if you're someone who's just trained for general flexibility, reflexes, range of motion, and calisthenic fitness, it's just good for fitness. Now, for us surfers, I'm going to incorporate an exercise that I call the squirty, which is a modified burpee, and then we're going to maybe modify the crunches a little bit to focus a little bit more on our core. But overall, these are traditional exercises that pretty much all of you should know. So the first exercise that we're going to do as part of our 55 routine is the jumping jack. And jumping jack's a very basic exercise, gives you the full range of motion, and you don't want to be jerking, just do a nice smooth jumping jack as part of your opening exercise for this 55 routine. The second exercise that we're going to perform is the mountain climber. And some people call these killer dillers. It's a ground-based exercise, and it's going to help with your hip strength and flexibility, as well as your cardiovascular fitness. And so the mountain climber, you place both hands on the ground, and you bring your feet up to your hands, so one at a time. So right foot up to your right hand all the way, and left foot up to your left hand all the way. And one foot to each hand is a repetition. So we'll start from the neutral position. So that's one repetition. The third exercise that we are going to do is the push-up. The push-up is a excellent exercise for maintaining total body fitness and for increasing your upper body strength, both in your chest, your shoulders, your triceps, and on across your back, as well as for strengthening your core and your hip and pelvis area. So just to demonstrate, I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone knows how to do a push-up, but you want to have your hands approximately shoulder width apart, your feet in a uniform position behind you, balancing yourself on the balls of your feet, your body in a straight position, not with your hips bowed out or sagging, as the sagging can harm your back. And when you perform the push-up, you want to move your body in a unit. So, and that is one repetition, move your body all the way down to the ground. Sometimes I like to just touch my nose to the ground and then push back up. The fourth exercise that we're going to perform is a modified crunch. I'm going to angle this camera just a little bit so that you guys can see the ground a little bit better. Hopefully the camera mount won't flop on us. And so for the modified crunch, we're going to be on the ground, and we are going to extend both our feet and our upper body